Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and welcome back to another Total War 3 Kingdoms, the Furious Wild DLC preview video. And for those of you who haven't heard, I officially became a verified partner with Creative Assembly today, so I've been granted earlier access to the game. And I can now preview the game, and I'm allowed to show 2 battles that are 45 minutes in length. So let's not waste any of our precious time and jump into the custom battle. So with the Furious Wild, we're getting the introduction of the southern tribes through 4 factions, and we're also going to get a few new interesting Han faction characters that's added into the game as part of the expansion pack, and that's kind of what I want to showcase today. So since I do get to do 2 of these battles, I'll definitely be doing a different battle tomorrow, where I will showcase mainly the new Nanman factions. But for this setup here, we see that I am playing as a defender, and I'm only using Han faction characters, namely Wei Yan, Li Ru, and Xun You, which are the 3 characters that are getting new portraits in this upcoming DLC. And for the attackers, I have thrown in every single one of the southern tribal leaders. There are actually 6 unique ones, so they're all there and they have all their units. Will run down everything. And then if you look at the custom battle map here, you can see these individual icons. Well, these are gate battles. So gate battle is definitely a new thing that's added into the game, and they are a total of 9 passes or 9 gates. And I'm gonna run down the 9 gates for you guys real quick. And as you can see, they're mainly focused on the northern part, central part of the map. And these are good reasons for them, because they were meant to protect the capital. Many of these gates or passes have been built since the Warring State period, and they have remained key locations all the way even to the Republic of China, which is very recent history. And some of them have been torn down, whether you're building a dam or a highway, and you don't need these strategic passes anymore. Well, other ones have been preserved into tourist sites, and you can go actually visit some of them today. So a quick look at ones we have. I'm sure most of the Dynasty Warrior players know what Hulao Pass is, or Hulao Gate, or in Chinese it will be Hulao Guan. So Guan is the word for these gate passes, and we can use Gate Pass or Guan, whichever one you're more comfortable with. So Hulao Gate or Hulao Guan, I'm going to say Hulao Guan, just more comfortable for me, is the old pass that was defended by Dong Zhuo's force against the coalition, and you have the fabled Romance of the Three Kingdoms story of Lü Bu fighting Liu Bei, Zhang Fei, and Guan Yu here, and that made it immortalized pretty much in Chinese lore, even though that part was fictional. And Hulao Pass itself is also kind of interesting because Sishui Pass and Hulao Pass actually refer to the same area, so it's a bit of a naming issue, but it is a tourist site today. You can go visit this. It is defending east of Luoyang, the capital. And if we move north, we have what's called Gu Guan or Gu Pass, and this is part of the old Great Wall that was built during the Qin Dynasty. So this has been always a fixture there. Sadly, this has been kind of abandoned after the Qing Dynasty, but I think recently there was an effort to refix part of this wall. So if you go there today, you can find pieces of the wall that's being reconstructed, and it's going to become a tourist site, I believe. I think they have been rebuilding it since 1998-ish. It's part of the Great Wall, so you can go check that out. And you can see from the map, these pass battles are going to have different layouts, namely 2 versions. This one looks like a more, fully structured gate pass that chokes all the point, with the gate pass itself kind of mountainous, perhaps. And then if you look at Hulao Pass, it's more along the river. You have a few structures and some very narrow crossings in the middle. I have actually never played any of these pass battles, so when we jump in, it's going to be new for me as it will be for you. And then if we move on, we have Qi Pass, which is the one of the passes here which I have no clue what it is supposed to be historically. I need to see some Chinese characters to know for sure. But since it is right next to Hangu Pass, which is a very famous pass in Chinese history, it's very crucial since the Warring State period. It's a very narrow mountain valley pass that chariots couldn't move through, horses only can go single file, so it's very defensible, and it connects the two capitals of the Han Dynasty of Luoyang and Chang'an. So it's kind of the front gate of Chang'an, which was the original capital. So this is kind of what you have to get through first as you move through from the central plains towards these mountains here that defends Chang'an. The other passes all have different gates protecting them, and this is one of the first gates you have to get through. I think this Qi Pass is closely related to Mengjin Guan, which would be the Yellow River crossing, and given its location, I think that's what it is, but I'm not sure what exact character they're referring to, because some of these gates have multiple names as well. So going on, we have Tong Pass, Tong Guan. So this is equally as famous as Hangu Guan, and they function the same way. As armies from the Central Plains want to move in towards Chang'an, and why would you want to come here is because both the capital of the Qin Dynasty and the capital of the Han Dynasty are right in this region, so a lot of wars were fought in this pass, and if Hanguguan was the front door, this is your house door. Tongguan is where you had to hold to prevent people from entering the capital area here surrounded by the mountains, and right to its southern neighbor, you have Wuguan. And Wuguan is another key hold for the Chang'an region, and mainly defend the river passage here, moving from this region into the same area. So these are all key passes to defend the capital. And also to the west of the capital, this is Sanguan or San Pass. And honestly, in Chinese, I think it's usually called Da Sanguan or Big San Pass. And it's the main hold of entering the Shu region from the old Qin area. So when the Qin dynasty, before it became a dynasty, when it was just one of the kingdoms, it conquered the Shu region, and Sanguan was one of the passes it used to divide the entrance. And if we move down, this is where I'm very confused. So if I'm reading this, it says Jiameng Pass, but I don't know what Jiameng Pass is. Judging by location, this should be Jianmen Guan. So there should be an extra N here, and there shouldn't be a G here. So it could be a spelling error. This is the crucial defensive line of the Shu region when the Shu kingdom was coming to its end during the later periods of the Three Kingdoms era. This is where the main defense was, holding back against Wei and Jin. And eventually it was bypassed through the mountain passes, and the enemy went behind the line, and you really couldn't hold it anymore, even though a large group of Shu army was still here when the capital surrendered. So a very crucial pass into the Shu region here. And then lastly, we have one pass way down south. This is Kui Guan. Kui Guan's mainly known as Chu Tangguan, I believe, and it's north of the Yangtze River, right above Badong, and this holds the entryway into Shu from the Yangtze River, thus making it a very crucial pass to hold. And this pass was taken by Liu Bei's forces when they were moving into the Shu region, and was a defensive fixture for the Shu army going forward. As you can see, kind of divides the mountain ranges here with this nice river passage being held by this pass right here. So we get these nice passes and gates added to the game, and we're running out of time, so let's keep going into the army section. So I have made this custom battle, so everyone gets infinite cost, doesn't matter what army we select, we just want to showcase some new units and new generals. So here we have Wei Yan, Conqueror of the West is his final title here. I actually don't know what his in-game title is. I don't think this is it. This is one of those artificial titles given for custom battles, but basically, he ends up with some generic gold weapons. He doesn't have any unique special ones for himself. He is a champion. He does have a unique armor that gives him 30% range block chance. A nice bit of resolve. I can't actually see the armor rating on this right now, but I think it's just incorporated right here. It should be just 55%, which is pretty reasonable for a champion. He has a few interesting skills. Reckless Strike. Use 5% of your own health to deal splash damage and reduce the armor and melee evasion of enemy characters, and as a champion you are supposed to duel enemies, so this is very helpful for that. And then into the Breach, he gets a commander generic skill that increases the charge and morale of your units, and this is pretty good. And you can see all of them now has a saying that can use if not on elephant, because elephant mounts are a thing and they will disable you from using your basic abilities, and you get a new set of elephant exclusive abilities instead. And then finally we have Tenacity of Steel. So he gets a little bit of mix of champion, commander, and sentinel skill. A very interesting build, but this will make him a very strong duelist, and he'll probably be one of the stronger duelists in the game with the combination of his champion ability for damage and some Tenacity of Steel for defense. So we give him very generic units because there are no new units for champions. The new unit here are these Juggernaut units, and we'll take a look at them very quickly. But first, Li Ru. So Li Ru is a new strategist. If you're familiar with the game, he does start out in Dong Zhuo's factions. He comes from the same hometown as Lu Bu, and he is actually the strategist or mediator that went and convinced Lu Bu to join Dong Zhuo in the first place. And later on, he also helped Lu Bu kill off Dong Zhuo, and he later just joined Lu Bu's cause. So he's one of these strategists that's going to be added into the game. And he has some interesting skills as well, because if you notice strategist health, he has a pretty big health pool, and we're showing this on large, which is the standard build for balance reasons with siege weapons and such. If you see any of my past videos, you know why I prefer to just try things out on large, even though extreme unit sizes is great and all, but game balance wise, I think we should take a look at large. So 40k health for a strategist on large is really high. He's similar to Xun You, and he's meant to be a fighter for you. So why do I say that? Because you have a commander buffing skill that gives him high melee evasion unbreakable. You debuff the enemy by dropping their armor and melee evasion with Wisdom the River, and you get this new special skill called Hold Firm that give you increasing melee evasion for the longer you are in a fight, similar to a sentinel, all the way up to 100% melee evasion. So Li Ru here can actually kill people quite easily. You get into these long fights by using this to get you the 30-second duration, right? You'll gain your melee evasion here and unbreakable. So for 30 seconds, you're 100% melee evasion. And during those 30 seconds, you're stacking Hold Firm. And by the time you're a minute into the fight, you have permanent 100% melee evasion. So surprisingly, the Ru is going to be a pretty good fighter because you can also reduce the enemy armor and melee evasion. If you get one of those really nice gold swords, give it to him and he can do some damage for you in battle. And the unit, that's what we've been all waiting for. We have Juggernaut. So this is a new siege unit. It has the same cost as the Trebuchet and the multi-bolt crossbow, and it does fire damage, very poor in melee, very, very short range. 65 range, so not much range here, and he has a very interesting damage setup. So we have some range damage, of course, and some range armor piercing damage, and then we have these explosion damages that are part of it. There's some armor piercing explosion damage. I think these are ticks of damage because you're blowing fire at the enemy, so it's actually going to hurt a lot. I haven't used these, so we're about to find out how the ammo work. Is it breathing for X amount of second, and that's one set of ammo, because that's very similar to how repeating crossbowmen works. You have very few ammo, but each ammo is like 6 different arrows because you're shooting them repeatedly, and that's like one clip of your arrows. So I put some of these guys in there. He's just going to be a short range unit for us, and we're going to play around with these Juggernauts in our defensive attempt. Maybe put them at the gate, so when we get breached, we can just breeze fire on the enemy. Not very high range. And then we have Xun You, who is a strategist that will be under Cao Cao. So Cao Cao is getting more strategists. He's getting a recolor scheme to be blue, and we're getting more strategists for him. And Liu Bei is getting a recolor scheme to green, as we can see the flag here. And we are getting a champion for him. And Wu is already red and has tons of vanguards. Wei Yan used to be a generic vanguard, so that's a big change here. And I think vanguard fit him pretty well, given that he was tasked with being the vanguard of the army for the true forces, but I think they're going with a color scheme focus here as the game moves forward, so I don't mind it. It's okay. We can use another champion. There's not that many good champions in the game, and you're always short, so having another one to recruit is definitely a good thing. And then Xun You here, let's go back to him. He's your typical strategist. You see his health, 25k, much less than the rules. And you have more generic skills like Inspiring Surge. You have this one called Turning the Tide, which is quite interesting. As long as you have an enemy unit routing within your range, and I think the range is 100 meters, then all the units within 100 meters of you will gain 25% to all their damages, whether it's range, armor piercing, base, melee, and also get 10 morale. So this kind of pushes you to maybe target the weakest enemy unit, knock them down, and then everyone around you gets a buff, which kind of requires you to be in the front line here. And you should probably stay closer to your other generals to give them a cooldown decrease. And then finally, he has everyone's favorite ability, Forest Spotting. And it's a one-use active ability called Ancient Wisdom. And once you activate it for 180 seconds, you have plus 5,000 visibility range, which is pretty much the whole map. And then you also get 5,000 Forest Spotting, so no one can hide from you. Potentially very useful against the Nanman region. You have a lot of jungle. And if you have this, you can see where the units are, and you won't fall into any ambushes. So I'm not saying Forest Spotting is useless, it's just not as useful and not as cool as some of the other skills we'll see. So obviously there's other characters that were added in like the free LC. We have Shi, but I don't think I can show them yet. So we're just gonna run this 3 general army. I don't know if we'll win or lose, and it doesn't really matter. I just want to showcase it. And then on the other side, we have all the Nanman or the Southern Tribe characters, starting with Meng Huo. There is a total of, I believe, 27 different units here. Or last I counted, 27. Yeah, I think there's 27 units, and I've given them 1 each to everyone as best as I could. So what I meant by that, let's say Meng Huo here, he has his unique armor, which gives him range block chance, give him 12% speed and 44 base armor. So the armor is not very heavy, and that makes sense because you're tribal, you're not wearing like heavy armor, but it's displayed here, which is nice. Whereas Wei Yan's, I think I'm gonna put a ticket in to ask them to display here, even though we know there is a number, it's just not written here, which is a little annoying. And then we didn't really look at their armor, right? So I think maybe this is just weird because the rules armor being a robe presenting 55% is a little bit fishy. Yeah, I think because it's not included, it's defaulting to 55 is my guess. But this is still a very early beta build, so things are subject to change, of course. Meng Huo here, he doesn't get a unique weapon. He's using a generic gold weapon because we leveled him up. And with all the southern tribes, you can put the general on a elephant if you want. But you lose your skills, so I'm not actually going to put them on elephant yet. I'll show you the skills first, and then we'll probably put Mu Lu on elephant just because he is known to ride into battle with a white elephant. Meng Huo here has a few unique skills. The grayed out ones are the generic elephant skills. But here we have Crippling Blow, so it hurts the enemy armor and melee evasion. Defiant Cry, Morale Shock. Power of Love, minus the damage resistant, immune to fatigue forever. Wait, what? Friendly units are in range with this ability? Is this a... Okay, we have a couple's ability. So if Lady Zhuorong and Meng Huo are together in the battlefield within range, then they both gain 25% damage resistant and both become immune to fatigue. Quite strong. So confederate the two, the first chance you get. And that's about it. Power of Love, and then he gets Bold Command plus morale to all allied units if allied units are routing in range. So it's a passive boost. If you have allies routing, you give plus 15 morale to the rest of your troops. Okay, that's kind of turning the tide, really. Like the first one, if your units start cracking, and then immediately you boost the other ones to make sure they don't fall to a morale shock and chain route. A pretty nice skill. And I believe all the Southern Tribe skills are locked to certain quest and skill tree events where you have to do a certain thing to unlock them. I can't really showcase that in terms of campaign right now, but once we do get to do that, I'll definitely show you guys. But that's what we have so far. Lady Zhuorong has a unique weapon, Burning Mace, because she is the goddess of fire. And she has Flying Daggers. 3 uses, 10k damage over 15 seconds, so I'm assuming this is poisoned. Very similar to Zhengjiang's throwing dagger ability, but hers is actually based on at least a source material, even though the source material is Romance of Three Kingdoms. Her armor gives 44 armor, 18 instinct, melee evasion, dodge, chance, speed, pretty generic. And then we have Rendering Strike, reduces enemy armor plus a little splash damage. Defiant Cry causes a morale shock. Okay, pretty standard stuff for Vanguard. And then we have King Mulu No unique weapons, but we have a unique armor piece here. Very similar stuff, melee evasion. He gets cunning, 30% range block chance, 12% speed, 44 armor. Expose, can't use it on elephant, but it does cause you to gain... Okay, so our guy suddenly loses all their range block chance but gain 50% melee evasion. I guess it's good once the melee line engages, like everyone's clashed together, so the enemy archer is unlikely to shoot at you. And then you can just turn up the melee evasion, turn down the range block chance. Not a bad play. Crippling blow, similar to Meng Huo, armor and melee evasion reduction. Fury, constantly 75 range passive ability that grants speed and morale. And I think you can use this on an elephant. I think elephant only disable active abilities, and let's check that out. Let's put him on an elephant. Yeah, he still has fury, so that's nice. Increase speed and morale to everything around him. And then he also have trumpet now, which was a morale reduction for the elephant below their horn. Gore, which is a splash damage, and then you have stomp, which is another splash damage. Interesting. The cooldown for these are 60 seconds, 60 seconds, and 60 seconds. Okay. And then we have Sha Mo Ke. He doesn't have, I don't know, Mountain Thunder? I don't know if this might be unique. This might be a new weapon. I'm unsure. He does get a bow, Red Wind, which I think is new. So he does get a couple of new things that are pretty cool. You have authority and expertise on this one. And the horse is similar. He has his unique armor, which is expertise and authority. You can build your Southern Tribe characters any way you want, so it's a lot of freedom in what stat you want to boost. And we have blow for blow, which uses 10% of your health to do a massive splash damage. Southern Wrath hurts the enemy morale and does a little splash damage. Okay, and then we have Swift Steps, increase speed and reduce your fatigue. Okay, so pretty interesting. I think he's supposed to be more infantry focused in the game, so this kind of makes sense. Increase speed, reduce fatigue, and then just some ability for him to do a bit of damage. Sacrifice his own health though here. And then we have King Duosi. Duosi, actually, this is old. Eater of Courage I think was in the game. It was in the 8 Princes. The Black Dragon's also old. He just gets them when you put him as the wisest chief. Duosi is the chief for the 5th capture of Meng Huo, I believe. He rules the Ball Dragon Cave with the 4 poison spring outside. So I just dumped all the poison units on him. And then he has his armor here. He has Subdue, which will increase enemy cooldown of abilities, duration 1 second, effective range. So basically shut down abilities, but it's passive debuff. So it's pretty constant, I'm guessing. I don't know how these time cooldown passive debuffs work, but definitely helps lock down enemy abilities. Natural protection, active buff, increased range block chance, melee evasion, morale. Endless volley active buff, increased melee attack rate and range attack rate, and increase your morale. Okay, so a buffing type of general here. He pretty interesting, I guess. The units is what I'm more interested. So let's speed through these. King Wutugu. So he is known as a pretty strong fighter in the game, and he comes in as the 7th helping king to help Meng Huo during the 7th capture. He had the Rattan army, the invincible kind of vine troops that got burned, and he has a unique weapon. King Wutugu's 2-handed axe, so this is a new unique weapon that's being added to the game. He has his own unique armor, which gives him fatigue immunity. He is described as one of those really weird, superhuman type of character in the novel. Eats snakes and poisonous animals for food, has scales on his body, is tall, is strong. So that's why he has a lot of cool stuff associated with his armor, fatigue immunity, charge bonus, and such. So pretty good unique general of tribal leader for you to confederate. He has off guard, which reduces your speed and does splash damage against you. Desperate rage, increase melee attack by 15%, increase 15 morale if you drop below 50% health, and also fury for faster attacks, or actually faster speed and more morale. So overall pretty useful. His items and armor is probably what makes him most interesting. We won't take a look at those too much. Let's just quickly fly through the units. At least I just want to give you guys a quick idea, and then we'll do a quick battle here. So I put everyone's unique unit next to them. Nanzhong Elephant, these are the buffing elephants. If we take a quick look, they will immune to fatigue. If you they have active buffs, basically. You get faster, you're immune to fatigue, activate this before you charge, increase damage, and then you have increased morale and increased melee evasion. So very amazing units. And all elephants are considered siege attackers, so you don't need to siege for a turn. They're the same as bringing a siege weapon to a settlement fight. You basically allow to instantly launch attack once you have elephants. And then you have the Nanzhong champions and Nanzhong spearmen. So one thing to note, most of the Nanman units have this, minus 100% fire resistant, means they're vulnerable to fire. It's attributed to their rattan armor, obviously, and it's referred to in the novel. And it's nice to see that they have this debuff on the units, so you can potentially use your juggernauts much better. And then they're all in the forest, so very vulnerable. But conversely, it makes Lady Zhuorong much stronger because she specializes in fire damage. So you have Followers of the Flame, that's the unique unit, and they have basically splash attack with fire damage over time. Pretty strong guys. It's not much about their actual damage output, it's more about their damage over time and splash damage. And then you have a couple of tiger units. So tiger warriors, these are the axe wielding warriors with tiger pets, and how tigers work is that your tiger gets sent out. Like this charge, they get sent out, charge into the enemy, and then you're left with basically 2 units you can kind of control. You have the tigers and the axemen, which you can use to target different enemy. So it's not like the tiger is like a pet that follows this one unit. It's more like the tigers are things you release, and then your warriors can fight as well. And then you have Tiger Slinger, similar idea, except for the units attached to the tiger are ranged. So slingers, blow darts, and axe throwers are all now a thing, and javelins for the southern tribes. I also give them the generic fire archers. I think you get these from fighting the Yunnan tribes, but since it's fire, I just put it under Zhuorong here. Same idea, you know, you guys seen fire archers before in the game. Then we move on to Mu Lu, who is the animal specialist. We have the southern elephant. These are the lighter versions of the elephant. And then we have the war elephants. Also, you can notice the super high charge damage on these guys. They have pretty good health. And then they also have range component because they have slingers on the back. And then you have Wolfpack, which I gave it to him just because the name is Wolfpack. And I forgot what his third unit is. I think it is the Wolfpack. Basically, if they are grouped together, since they're called Wolfpack, even multiple units, you get additional boost, charge speed, cause terror, increase speed by 50%, increase 100% melee charge bonus, so double. Very strong, right? You want at least 2 of these together. That's kind of the rule, similar to the Imperial units. Go with a buddy system and everyone will be better. They also have a ranged weapon, so I assume this is very similar to the Javelin playstyle. So they probably throw a couple rounds of javelin at you and then charge into you. As you can see, the ammo is very low. So throw a few javelins, charge into you, good damage. Feels pretty scary with this bonus here. And then we have Ravine Warrior, since he is the chief of the Banan Ravine, so I just threw this guy in here. He is shared between everyone, I'm pretty sure. Expendable unit, so it doesn't cause any morale hits when these guys loses or routes. Gonna work pretty well with some of these abilities where if one of the units start routing, you get bonuses, which we just seen. I forgot who was it on, but stuff like this is what you want to set up for. Have an expendable unit get routed, so you boost everyone else around you. And then you have King Shamo Ke, and then his units are Wulin Slingers. Wulin is the region he's from. They basically are good in all terrains, that's kind of their specialty. Damage-wise, they have a lot of ammo. The range is not as good. It makes sense nowadays because unlike Total War Troy, when the technology with the bows were very behind and doesn't have a lot of range, so they outrange, so slingers outrange archers. Now during the Three Kingdoms period, we're in like 200 AD or CE, and bows are much more high-tech than slings, so the range is gonna lack a little here. Damage wise, mostly base damage, not much armor piercing. I don't know if I'm gonna favor these guys a lot. They could be good, a lot of ammo, you can harass for a long time, very high speed, so potentially you can skirmish, like run around the enemy, but we have cavalries in the game, so there's things that can counter this. But notice the southern tribe doesn't have cavalry, so perhaps you can use these against the southern tribes. You have the Wuling Fighters. These are Slayer of Heroes, so they get this bonus similar to the Tyrant Slayers from the Mandate of Heaven DLC, where they do extra damage, 4 times damage against heroes. So you can use these guys to kill enemy heroes. And then you have Might of the Valley. This is their elite troop. They have Berserk once they go below 50 health, which gives them a huge boost. And they're just your best damage troop. You see the high armor piercing damage right here. And then you have Valley Tribemen, which is some generic units I threw onto the unit. And since they have a slinger unit, I was showing the generic slinger as well. Very similar sling, same weapon, like most bow. They pretty much have just better stats in other places like armor, morale, and such when compared to the generic slingers. And then Valley Tribemen, I think, is similar to like a Wuling Fighter in a sense, without all the cool Slayer of Hero stuff. And then we move on to Duosi. I gave him all the poison units. So Sanjiang Poison Spear. Sanjiang is a location where the Three River crosses. If you're interested in any of the lore related to the periods of the Nanman Rebellion, there's a lore series on the channel. I'll link that in the description below. And Sanjiang is one of the 4th captures, I believe. So we have some Poison Spear units, finally some melee units with Poison Weapon, Sanjiang Poison Dart, so Poison Dartsmen, not much damage, so they're just basically here to poison you, and then also short range. And then you have Hidden Vipers, so I believe these guys are the stock version. I don't think they have Snipe, which is pretty bad. If they have Snipe, they would be God tier, because then you can remain hidden while poison people. Now it's more like get up close, hit a couple, and then just run away, because you're going to be discovered when you start firing. Javelin Throwers, so we put all the range units here as well. Heavy kind of armor piercing range damage, also very short range, but not much ammo. Can convert themselves to a melee weapon, of course. You can always save that last javelin. And then we have Javelin Spearmen. So these are the spear variety of the Javelin Throwers. So they are mainly spear, but has a few throwing javelin. These are mainly javelin, but has a spear as a backup, and they have a shield. And then you have Nanman Spearmen, which are the 2-handed spear. And then finally, we have King Wu Tugu. I gave him Wu Guo's axe thrower, so he comes from like a different country. So Wu Guo would be his land, and he has the axe throwers, and then he also have the generic axe throwers just for comparison. These guys have ridiculous armor piercing damage, very few axes, just hard hitting. Throw your axe out there and then go into melee. Similar idea here. And then you have Shield of the South, just generically given to one of these generic tribal leaders. I'm sure they belong to one of the tribes, have access to quite a few formations, and also they encourage allies. But everyone's very flammable, so that's a thing. And then you have Javelin Spear Guards. These are just a heavy version of these guys. I couldn't fit it in, so I just threw that down here. And then finally a very generic Nanman Warrior. So with that said, let's jump in. We have about 10 minutes to show the rest. Alrighty, so we're loaded in here. We're in Kui Pass. This is the one in the south near the Yangtze River. It's the closest to the Nanman tribe, so I thought that makes sense. And Kui is also very interesting. It's a word that's very rarely used in Chinese language. It describes a mythical beast that's a one-legged cow. So it's a mythical creature that looks like a cow, but it only has one leg, and it appears to be amphibious. It can go into the water, it can be on land, and every time it shows up, there is thunderstorms. So it brings the thunder and lightning as well as the storms. And then the mystical god, I think Huangdi, eventually slayed one of these beasts and used its leather to create this drum. And every time he beats the drum, he brings the thunder. So it's kind of a mythical creature, and Kui is used in this term, probably because the weather conditions around this path is also very, it rains a lot. Alright, so we have a path, and we can see that we have a nice wall. We get some towers. So I made the pass level 2, which is the max level. So I guess we get higher tier towers. They look like the Imperial towers that we get. So a lot of firing holes, 2 stacks to burn down. And then we also get some nice crossbows that just comes with the pass, which is nice. It's a settlement. So I believe you can actually, wow. You get why do we have trebuchets on this side? Oh, it's 2-sided. So maybe you can attack it from either side. Interesting. Juggernauts. Okay, so let's set this thing up. Obviously they're coming in. They have some siege towers. Fun. I'm gonna throw the range units down here. I'm gonna throw these guys up there. I'm gonna thin these guys out a little. because you can stretch them. So we don't have to throw too many on the walls. This is fine. We'll just cover everything, and we're gonna put our siege weapons on 2 sides. Flaming shots. Alright, and then front door, we're gonna use turtle probably? No, maybe just spear wall is fine. Can't get it in the right place. There we go. Maybe this is good enough. Maybe we can, I know we can choke it. Hold on, let me get it to the right sides. It's very... Okay, there we go. I think that's fine. This way they get no range damage, and when the enemy comes in, they'll be ready to defend it. Onyx dragons can be right here. This will be our second line of defense. So once that's breached, we'll come here and use our... Oh, this is a step. Okay, that's nice. We'll layer them using the step. Wow, this is really hypersensitive on my mouse. I don't know why. Alright. Now this is the unit we've been waiting for. These puppies. So how do we want to use them? I think we'll get breached for sure. And then we'll put them in the front door. Where's the other one? Maybe single file? Or else how you fire the fire at the enemy. Oh my god, what's going on? Okay. Okay, alright. I'm happy with that. And then archers can start here. Wei Yan can start here. Strategists in the back. I think we're good. Let the AI come. And we'll have a taste of the southern tribes. So where are the elephants? Oh, we're firing. Ooh, there are eagles. I wonder if that's just the map, or is it because we're fighting the southern tribes? But there's the drummer elephants, and they're the heavier ones in the back. Where are the tigers? Where are the tigers, guys? These are slingers. Oh, these are tamers. Oh, there they are. Yeah, these look amazing. I think the tigers came out a lot better than the elephants. I mean, elephants are great, but like, really, these guys look amazing. Alright, they're coming. Let's see how they break the gate down. They have a battering ram, so they probably will break the gate. Remember, the point here is not even to win or control them. The setup was all we're gonna do. And there's like multiple levels to the pass, which is pretty interesting. Blow darts first. What are they gonna do here? The battering ram. The elephants are here. Oh, they're fast. What's their speed? 75. Okay. Not faster than cavalry. But they're here. Alright, we routed a bunch of them. Can the elephants bash the door? Don't tell me they can bash the door. They can bash the door, guys. That's why they're siege attackers. Oh man. We're gonna have that moment when they break the door. Wei Yan, hold. Tell the men. Tell the men. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. That's nothing. That's normal. How much health does the door have? 50%? Oh, they got in. They got in. Some of them got in from the wall, but it's fine. They're trying to get out. Oh, here they come. Hold. Guys. Are they gonna charge us? They're kind of stuck. Oh. Oh, the gate's not done. The door just opened because people are trying to get out. Now the gates are gone. Now they can come in if they want. Oh, they're coming. Oh, they're coming. Let's see. Oh! Oh my god. Okay. Okay, spear wall fail. Spear wall fail. Alright, Wei Yan, let's pull back. Archers. Second line defense. Go to here. Holy. I mean, they're not killing that many, but the knockback on these... Oh, tigers are here. Oh, Jesus. Alright, I'm gonna speed this up because we already lost the front. I just want to see the fire guys start firing once this unit routes, I'm guessing. Can I charge them just forward? That way they get out of the way. Yeah, we can start firing. Can I manual fire? I can manual fire. Okay. Let's go. That's all we want to see for this one. Oh, here it comes. Let me turn off all that UI. Oh, we are burning the elephant down. Oh my god. I mean, I'm sure they were damaged already, but like... Nobody get in this door. What's wrong with this puppy? Oh, they got the troops. Ooh, smoke and fire. Okay. Just like the Romance of Three Kingdoms, all you need is a bit of fire to kill the animals. Oh, one of the generals is here. How much damage do we do to the generals? Nope. How much did he lose? He's at 22k. Well, he lost a lot of health then. That fire did... Oh, actually no, he doesn't have a lot of health to start out with. Wait and get out. Okay, so we kind of got to see everything we came here to see. We got the gate battle going. Pretty grand. You have like actual, you know, siege location that's designed just for siege battles. You can hold this with the army. And I'm sure the influence circle on the map is going to prevent you from bypassing it. And then you also have very cool animal units that got wrecked by our juggernauts, which is the way things should be. And we have clearly the range and siege advantage. And it's a fair siege because this is actually a victory point because you can't loop out and then use your towers to kill enemies. You actually just have to defend properly. But they did a number on us. They ended up killing our troops, but this pile of body here will remind us what happened at the gate here. So hope you guys enjoyed this preview. We're running short on time, and we'll come back and definitely do another one that's more focused on the actual southern tribes. This one I just want to get a good overview of everything that's coming to the game, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well as our 3 generals here, which look pretty nice. Yeah, these Han generals turned out quite nicely. Wei Yan already has some blood on him. He did some... I don't know, he just got whacked a couple times. I don't think he actually fought anyone up there. So, that's all for this preview. See you guys for the next one. Bye!